Greetings, children. Recently, I've been being more productive than I'm used to, and it's not a feeling very difficult to get used to. And it's really not that hard, or I haven't found it to be. It's really the same thing that I showed you in the in my video about No Nut. I think it's called the easy way to beat NNN, I think. And it's really just a table like this. Take a paper. I don't care if you already have squares on your paper, just lines or whatever. Just make a bunch of squares. Make a bunch of squares on your paper. And at the top like this, I like to. Oh, that's kind of hard to see. What if I do? Wait a second. What if I do this? That's. Okay, look. At the top here, I have the things that I want to do. What is it say? Oh, it's weird. It's weird. It's mirrored for you. Run, do, lats, and work. Those are three main things that I've been wanting to focus on. And since there are the squares here, each line counts as a day, and you can figure out the rest from there. But it's not that hard to cross out one. Now, when you do one of the things one day, you cross out that square. And when you do all three, you cross out all three. It's pretty simple. Now, the beauty in its simplicity really comes from the fact that you're making it a game. You're making it interesting for yourself. Whatever. It's kind of the difference between learning a language on your own and using Duolingo. There's kind of a game aspect to it. So, of course, you want to get that streak, and then you start feeling like you're going through the days, and maybe it's rough in the beginning. Maybe you're not getting very much. Maybe you're not crossing out many squares, but as time moves on, you keep looking at your paper. It's nice to have it somewhere where you look a lot. I have it right above my bed on a shelf, and and then you just want to start crossing out more and more and more squares, and you start being productive. Then maybe later on you can add more of the columns. Each column is a activity or a thing that you want to accomplish, a thing that you want to do in that day. And yeah. So yeah, that's one thing, the productivity thing. It's really nice. And then maybe, which is what I did. First, I only used it for No Nut. But since I'm already, or in that aspect, I'm already like 3 or 4 months clean, which is great. I got through that addiction. I want to call it an addiction. I don't really know the exact definition of that, but it's a nice accomplishment, and it's really not hard for me anymore not to do that. And so later on, when you're already used to doing something every day and you've made it a habit, you can stop having it in your table or graph. I don't know what you want to call it. And as you might have noticed, you can use it for things that you want to do, and you can also use it for things that you want to not do. As I gave the example of No Nut. Another thing, I went to the library with my friend, and I got this book from Camus, whatever. La Peste, the Pest. It's in French. I wanted to practice my French because at the end of the year there's a big essay that you got to do in French, and I'm really not ready. So I wanted to get to know the writing style, even though it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of more formal thing than anything that I would be able to write. So that's another thing. Oh, and with that book, speaking of practicing my French, I got this book, Po trochu, from Weronika Gogola. It's in Polish, because I wanted to practice my Polish, and it's great, and I love doing that. I've never really been a big reader. The only things I read are like Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power and the Art of Seduction, whatever. These kind of pop psychology, and the only other reason basically that I read is to practice a language that I'm learning, or that I'm learning. Oh, and I feel like I finally finished learning the waltz that I have been learning on this. So I might show you a sneak peek. This is Vals by Eyþór Þorláksson. Might be, I think he's Icelandic. It's not a very complicated, it's pretty simple, but I'm glad that I'm mastering it slowly. Whoa. So that's basically it. If that sounds kind of bad, of course, I haven't finished learning it. But that's basically all I wanted to tell you today. And look at this light. It's beautiful. I look so immaculate in it. I'm just thanking the sun for this great day. I'm gonna go running now, I think. So, and I'm working on the next video using pixel art. So, you might see that soon. Bye bye.